So in your science notebook, you're going to write Let's Bounce Lab, and it's going to take up 2 pages. So page 1 to 2, or 3 to 4, or 7 to 8. It's going to take up 2 pages. So whatever 2 pages you're on for the Let's Bounce Lab. All right. Then, hopefully Miss Cornett is going to pass these pages out to you. You're going to put this page that actually says Let's Bounce, glue that down on the first page. And then this one that has part 3 on it, and it says which falling ball transferred the most kinetic energy, is going to go on the second page. So pause the video, take a minute to get those 2 pages glued down in that order. All right, so you should be glued down now. You're going to answer these 3 questions. What is potential energy? What is kinetic energy? Describe a situation in which potential energy is converted or changed to kinetic energy. You should know what potential and kinetic energy are from yesterday's video, from yesterday's notes that you put in your notebook. Think of a situation, and again, from yesterday's notes, where potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. So you're going to pause the video and answer those 3 questions. Now we're actually going to do the lab. So these directions right here, I have already set up. I have a pencil, a rubber eraser, a rock, a pencil, a rubber eraser, and a rock on my table. You're going to predict, where it says prediction, you're going to predict what will happen to the objects on the table when we drop a golf ball, when we drop a baseball, and when we drop a basketball on them. So pause the video again and make your predictions to what is going to happen to those objects. All right, so here you see I have a pencil, an eraser, a rock, and some pinto beans on the table. You should have already made your predictions as to what you think is going to happen when I drop a golf ball, a baseball, and a basketball from 30 centimeters. So I have a ruler here to measure 30 centimeters, and I'm going to take the golf ball and I'm going to drop it and write down what you notice happened for trial 1. All right, what did you notice happen for trial 1? Here it goes again for trial 2. What did you notice happen for trial 2? Write it down. And here it is for trial 3. What did you notice happen for trial 3 with the golf ball? Now we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to do it with a baseball this time. Same objects. I have a baseball. I'm going to drop it from 30 centimeters. Here it goes for trial 1. You should have noticed a little bit more that time. More of the objects moving. Here it goes for trial 2. Write down what you noticed happened for trial 2 for the baseball. And here is trial 3. Write down what you notice happened for trial 3. We're going to do the same thing one more time. This time we're going to use a basketball. So we're going to drop the basketball from 30 centimeters 3 times. So here it is for trial 1. Okay. Here it is for trial 2. And here it is for trial 3. So write down what you saw happen in all 3 trials. So this page should be completely filled in with your prediction and what happened in all 3 trials. If we scoot over to the next page, it says which falling ball transferred the most kinetic energy into the objects around it. Hopefully you noticed that the basketball transferred the most kinetic energy. Why do you think that is? Were your predictions correct? So probably the reason that the basketball transferred the most kinetic energy is because the basketball is the biggest. Were your predictions correct? I have no idea because I don't know what your predictions were. You need to tell me on that question if your predictions were correct or not. We're going to do another experiment. with the basketball and with the same objects. First, you're going to answer what is a non-contact force and give an example. What is a contact force and give an example. And then you're going to make your predictions for the non-contact force and the contact force. What you think is going to happen to the objects on the table when I just drop the basketball and when I force the basketball down. So take a minute, make sure you have this question answered, question 1 and 2 answered, and your predictions answered as well. So those questions should be filled in your notebook now. So we're going to see what happens with a non-contact force, which is when I just drop the basketball from 30 centimeters. So here it goes for trial 1. What did you see happen? I noticed the pencil moved that time. The beans are always moving, but the pencil I saw move that time. All right, here it is for trial 2, non-contact force. I'm just dropping it. I saw the pencil and the rock move, and of course the beans. Lots of moving objects. And here it is, non-contact force, trial 3. All I'm going to do is drop the ball. All right, write down what you saw happen in all 3 trials of the non-contact force. I'm going to do the experiment again, but this time, instead of just dropping the basketball from 30 centimeters, I'm basically going to hold it at 30 centimeters and push it down. So I'm almost like throwing it, but I'm not throwing it from very high. I'm throwing it from the same exact height that I just dropped it from. All right, so here it is, the first one with a contact force. I'm going to push it down. What did you notice happen? I noticed a lot of my beans fall onto the floor. Other objects moved as well, but the beans, of course, moved the most. I think I'm going to move my beans over here so that hopefully they don't fall onto the floor. We'll see. All right, so that was the first trial with a contact force. Now we're going to do the next trial with a contact force. Let me get everything in the picture here. Okay, now everything's in the picture. Here it is again with a contact force. All right, everything's moving again, moving greatly. My beans did not fall off this time. They did spread out, but they didn't fall off since I moved them to the other side. That was the second trial with the contact force. Now we're going to try it again for the third time with the contact force, which means I'm going to push the ball down, not just drop it from 30 centimeters. All right, what did you notice happen with the contact force? And I did lose another bean that time. Make sure you have all 3 trials written down, what you noticed happen for the contact and non-contact force. And then you also want to answer this question right here. Which type of force affected the objects the most? How do you know? You should be able to answer that on your own.